welcome back. Another day, another vlog. Good to have you all back on this Thursday morning. Hope you're well to everyone out there, either podcast land, YouTube land, Facebook, wherever you're coming from. Much appreciate you stopping by for a little bit of something. Bit of news, bit of tech, bit of everything. Pretty busy day, actually. After Tuesday, I think I said to you, it was a pretty quiet sort of a day. Not a lot was happening. This day was definitely a lot happening in there. So I got a bit of news to talk to you about that. Went for me normal exercise on my shift change. What a great day that was. Planning went pretty well. Everything I'd sort of planned for was good. I found 1, 2, 3 waterfalls and this amazing ironstone river creek cascade, but it's probably about 100 meters at least of just solid ironstone, which is carved, rivers carved through it and on it. So it's all silky smooth with rain and water in it would be amazing. So some awesome scouting trip. I think I got some really nice shots actually out of it. There's at least a couple of really nice panoramas that I wanted to try, which come up really good. So I'm pretty happy with that. We've got some clouds, which is unusual for here. Normally, you might have seen some photos, and I think I've said to you, I've been trying out that Luminar 4, which is fantastic, definitely for skies. It's normally blue as here, and it's just, yeah, sort of makes taking nice landscape photos and panoramas hard because you just have all this blue. I mean, it's awesome weather, but it's just terrible for photographs. It just makes it look pretty average. So yesterday we got some clouds in by the time I got there. It was a good hour and a half walk to get where I needed to go. I had to climb up through a waterfall. Then I found these other waterfalls in the creek. It was just amazing country, beautiful sights, heaps of birds out. The birds were all coming to check me out, what I was doing. Had a ball of a day. I got to do a fair bit of playing around with this. I'm still learning heaps. I've got a long way to go to understand all the functions are totally different to the M50 to go to one of these. And being a DSLR, and I think the biggest, hardest thing is you don't get to see the picture while you're taking it. I mean, we're spoiled as mirrorless. You don't realise how easy it is when you just look through and you can see the image that's going to go onto the screen, where DSL, you've got to, I was finding myself, I was having to take multiple photos just to work out what my right exposure was. So yeah, it was a big learning curve, but I got a bit more done with that. I think I got a nice panorama with it. We'll see how they go in post. I guess that's where it'll all count if I've done any good. I also got to play with that Canon 10-18, which I think helped. That was pretty good. Sunny day, clear sunny day, so perfect conditions for it. Use that 10mm, which gives me roughly about a 15mm full frame, which is what I want. I'm really hoping that Canon this year brings out, we'll talk a little bit about that later, but it brings out a wide angle lens. A 10mm on a crop sensor would be awesome if you could use it, because I was able to do a bit of trees where you get that curvature on the edge of the lens, so it sort of stretches that image out. So if you get up close and that, it just sort of drains. So I tried to get a few of those in there. Did some other things with that. Had the zoom on, I had the 55-200 on to help get right up into some of these escarpments. So I really did a big varied sort of run. It was basically a scouting trip, and I would just saw all these amazing, beautiful things everywhere I looked. Wow, yeah, got to get a photo of that. Stopped here, stopped there, stop. Had an awesome day. It was awesome. I'm actually feeling pretty good today for about 8 odd Ks all up, I think it was, thanks to my Dana boots. I think that's always good when you know you come home. It's a rough country. That ironstone's you get sharp rocks, loose rocks. No injuries, no sore feet today. Magic. So yeah, it all worked out well. safe sound, tickety-boo, and I've got 500 plus photos to get through. So that'll be a good little video, I think, and it'll be a good test for this, the Canon Vixia video camera, which I've been using, and I'm actually really enjoying. I think it's been a really good purchase. See how it goes in the field. I think that's the first proper full shoot I've done with this one. So yeah, see how it handles. I do have an ND filter coming for it, so that's definitely going to help it. It's only a little 43mm one, so I didn't have any adapters, and you can't get step up, step down rings to suit that. So I've had to get a special variable ND in there, so for those bright days to help with the blowouts. So I might get a bit of that in there at the moment, but other than that, it's going really, really well. Pretty happy with how it works. I can plug my wireless go straight in the side. Good. I only used one battery all day. I had a little bit left, I think, at the end, which I recorded my final scene here. So pretty good. I've got 2 batteries, so I know at least I've got a good 4 hours worth of filming. Don't have to worry about overheating or anything like that. It does a great job. So all in all, the day was excellent, and I had a great time. Thoroughly switched off from everything else in life and just let Mother Nature make me feel small but special to get to witness it. So yeah, very, very cool and a great day. So rightio, we'll get some news done because I've got a bit to get through. I might try and start this afternoon. I'm going to crash out and then see if I can get up early and continue on with the video, but I should be able to get it out by this weekend some stage, but we should be still on track for a video this week, so if you're hanging for a new video, it should be okay. We should be good for the weekend, so when you get home and you got something to watch on the weekend when you're just chillaxing and having a couple of beers or a nice glass of red, which I can't have. But anyway, rightio. Right, going to get straight into this one, which pretty excited. I was watching Tech Gear Talk last night, a channel on YouTube. He does a lot of M50 stuff, so it's sort of always good to see what other M50 enthusiasts like myself are into, or have heard, or anything like that. And he was saying some pretty interesting things, obviously about what's coming up with a new body and all that. He seems to think there's only one coming. I don't think so. I think Canon Rumours is right. There's going to be definitely 2 bodies come out this year. I think the M50, they're not going to really pump it up. They'll give it a little bit better. You might get 4K uncropped. I think they'll definitely get that 32 megapixel sensor. Whether they give it the IBIS, I'm not sure, because I think they'll probably want to try and keep it as cheap as possible. And I think all that IBIS and all the other stuff we've talked about, like plug-in USB-C for the SSD, weatherproofing, all the good gear, I think that's hopefully they'll go into the main, that high-end one they're talking about. What he did say, though, was he'd heard through his sources 5 new lenses to come out for the M mount this year, which I hadn't seen on anywhere else. So I'm not sure how accurate this is, but it's always good to dream, I guess. It keeps us excited, keeps us a thing. I definitely think we need some lenses. I'll talk to you. I'll tell you what he said, and then I'll talk to you about sort of what I think about it. 5 new lenses, and what he was saying was a 15mm Tony 2, 52mm Tony 2, 62mm Tony 4, but a macro, and an 18 to 45 Tony 2.8 to 4, and 100 to 300. He didn't give a Tony for that one. So, look, great to see those upper end lenses, the Tony 2s, I think that's good, but I don't think we need any more primes. The Sigma 16mm, the 32 and the 56 from Sigma, those 3 primes are amazing. Everyone that's got an M loves them. That covers portrait, pretty much 16mm, pretty close to wide. It turns out to be a 24mm, so it's I'd like it a little bit shallower, and that's what I'm saying. I really did enjoy shooting with the 10mm. They get that extra range. I think that'll be perfect. But the other ones, the macro, that'd be cool. They've already got a really good macro, so I don't Do they need another macro? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. And the 18 to 45, yeah, I think that's on the range. Now, I chucked a note back in and I said that my wish would, yes, we definitely need zooms. I don't think primes is what Canon needs. I think Canon needs to bring out some zooms for the M's and some, I guess, high-end zooms for them. Not high-end L series cost, $3,000 cost, but if we could get a 10 to 18 weatherproofed with a 2.8, and I think that if you could make them all 2.8, these ones, it'd be like your, not the Holy Trinity, it'd be called the Baby Jesus Trinity. I called it. I think that's pretty accurate. So my dream list for the lens would be 10 to 18, 2.8, 18 to 50, 2.8, and 50 to 200, 2.8. If you could lock that in, good weather sealing, beautiful to go with the new high-end APS-C M, the possible M7 that we're thinking it may be, the Canon Rumours sort of talked about as a possibility. I think that would be amazing for M mount users. I think they would sell if they, like, I think like the 11 to 22 and your brand new lenses is about the 400 to 500 mark. So obviously he's going to be up higher. So if you can make them around the 800 or below 1,000, keep them well below 1,000, or 800 to 900 would be fantastic range. Then keep your base ones at about the 500 to 600 mark. Perfect. 2.8s, magic. So I can do Astro. We can do pretty much everything, much like the L series at the upper echelon, and then weather sealing to go with either the M50 upgrading to a bit more weather sealing, or that high-end possible M7 model becoming weather sealed, similar to like a 1D range. If we could get a little M series, similar sort, not as big as that, but a little bit different form factor, I think that would be ideal. So that's pretty interesting. So those lenses, great to see some talk about lenses for the M's. I think it's definitely required. I don't think primes is where they need to focus, but I think there's some good stuff in the primes. The 32mm from Canon, that prime is really good. I think there's a 22 as well. So there's some good primes in there. It's just there's not much zooms, like where you can just have two lenses and just go. Currently I'm carrying around 4 because I've got to take this for really wide, my 24 because the Sigma, it's the quality of the picture, and then I've got my other long lens, and then I've got to carry this with its lens, so it's a little bit tricky. So anyway, now SMS messages, something I didn't know, so I thought I'd pass it on. It's quite handy to sort of chuck in the back of your brain whenever you're doing something, especially for work and sensitive stuff, or if you're sending sensitive pictures. Not saying anyone, but you know you are. If you've done it, you do it, just be careful of this. Just be advised that Boys at Lou later were saying that, and it's pretty easy for Apple, if I speak out a little bit of Apple here, your blue text messages, so that's your blue, that's your iMessage, so you don't have to pay for it, that's free, that's encrypted. Anything green or just a normal SMS message, if you use an Android, if it's just SMS and it's not going through iMessage, it's unencrypted. It is possible to be stolen, so just be careful with that. So that's quite handy. Now, the world's most expensive laptop got dropped last night. Boys over at Short Circuit unveiled that. $10,000 US beast. The Asus ProArt Studio Book 1. Yeah, what a bit of kit. I'll just run through the specs and then we can have a chat. It's got the i9 9980HK in it. Nividia Quattro RTX 6000, first laptop in the world to get that brand new beast from Nividia. That's got 24 gigabyte of RAM and GDDR6 VRAM for that. So that's an insane bit of kit. Up to 64 gig, or got 64 gig RAM. I don't think there was many options. It's pretty much this is what you get. 64 gigabyte of RAM at 2660. 1 terabyte NVMe PCI 3.0 by 4, which that puts it out at 300 megabytes a second. So super mega fast storage. apparently you can easily edit 8K red raw footage on this. 15.6-inch display, 4K screen on it, so that's cool. It's not a touch screen, but it's still 4K. It's 100% Adobe and Pantone accurate, so awesome for visual artists. It's designed for scientists, graphic artists, as such like that. So it's a pretty powerful beast. Now, this is the pretty interesting stuff. The actual laptop only has 3 Thunderbolt ports. That's all it runs. No USB-A or anything else on there. It can run 3 external displays from those. Now, it also comes with an included dongle, which has 2 USBs, 1 more Thunderbolt, and 1 full-size HDMI. So you plug that into your Thunderbolt, and then you can run those other stuff off it. No SD card whatsoever, no slot. It does have gigabyte Wi-Fi, so it'll do 1.73 gigabytes per second over Wi-Fi. That's at 802.11ac tech, so that's pretty darn cool. And it's a 120 hertz display. 10 grand, massive, the US, so you're looking at least 15 to 16 grand for a laptop. And the other thing, cooling wise, it's a totally different beast. Basically, where your laptop on here, you've got your computer down here, then your screen up here. Well, the design is, on this one, the whole base underneath that is basically all battery. All the computer is in the actual back of the screen. And so to cool it and everything, they had to think of a way. So when you open the lid of your laptop, the back section of the display, which is actually where the computer is, opens 4.5 degrees, I think it was, and lets air vent out the side. So a pretty funky bit of kit, fully machined aluminium, magnesium. It's got everything in it. It's got a titanium cooling tube in it. Wow, very nice bit of kit. You'll see the thumbnail. I'll get that up there for you. But yeah, very, very cool. So go if you've just won TASLotto, buy yourself a nice laptop. You'll be able to do whatever you want. You can actually then go and buy an R5 and edit all the 442. It should work. Qualcomm. Qualcomm, huge big player in the mobile game. They do all the chips. They want to sell to Huawei. So they've asked the American government if they can get a permission to do that. They reckon it's worth $8 billion worth of money coming back into the US economy. So that's going to be a pretty interesting test for Trump to see how rigid he is, if he caves into a bit of money coming back. I think what they don't forget is, yes, you're going to sell the chips to them, but then then everyone's going to buy those phones back, and then everyone's using their phones, which I think what the whole purpose of them trying to stop. So that's going to be an interesting one. We'll hear more about that. There's a Chinese American gentleman that paid $1.5 million US to get a mask, a COVID mask that everyone's wearing at the moment, which is good, covered out of white and black diamonds. He told the jeweler he wanted it to be the most expensive in the world so he could have that on his resume, I guess. Wild bit of kit. 1.5 million. Imagine walking down the street and getting rolled while you're going for shopping. Pretty cool. You can look on the web for that one. Very different, I guess. Very now on trend, the COVID face mask. Hopefully it ends, and then I guess he just gets all the diamonds and sells them back. I'm not sure how that's going to work. And then last but not least, R5 firmware coming over Canon Rumours again. They're saying that the firmware is coming. There's going to be a raw light instead of 8K as an option, so you can opt to basically get rid of not use 8K and have this raw light version, which obviously will run a little bit easier, so that's good. C-Log 3, which will be really cool. That will help increase the dynamic range a lot, and an increased record time. So they're not thinking it's going to be real super mega much, but it's going to be a little bit more. So maybe a couple of minutes extra of record time. So that might be quite handy for the filmmakers out there. And that's about it. First one. Oh, not first one. First day of night shift. Thursday night, got tonight. I'll see you all tomorrow for the end of the week show. Yeah, some big stuff there. How's that laptop? 10,000, at least probably 15 grand Australian. Wow. But an amazing bit of kit, and it's definitely going to go to the right people. Obviously, the scientists and these guys that use and do massive big calculations, they need something like that to smash out the stuff. So yeah, pretty cool, but a bit of gear, especially the lid that pops open. Cool. I thought that was pretty cool. Rightio, guys. I will see you all again tomorrow. Hope you have a lovely Thursday, and the weekend's not far away, and we can have a bit of relax and a bit of beach time, go for a walk, do a hike like I have. And if you're going to go for a hike, make sure you wear some good shoes. Go check Dana Boots below. They'll hook you up. There's 20% off. That's a hell of a deal. They're a great boot. And that's just me, not sponsored, but that is just me saying I can highly recommend them. They even got thongs too. Pretty cool. Righty, guys, we'll be going that way. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.